Hello everyone. I'm going to demonstrate the bow drill and how to make a fire with one. The bow is quite simple. Mine is a piece of crepe myrtle. It's got a little bend in it. It don't have to have a bend in it. I drill holes to attach my cord, but it could be tied. You could use paracord, cordage you make natural. This is bank line, which is a nylon line that's been coated in a tar. And I find it to be very good in that the tar makes it a little tacky and makes it hang on to the spindle better. Anyway, the bow is quite simple. If you want to make one, there's plenty of YouTube videos on that. My set was made from this pine sapling. From the top part of it, I cut off a piece to make the bottom board, or the hearth board or fire board. I just removed the bark, split it in half, and split a little bit more off here to make a 1/2 inch piece. And then I made a divot here. That's where the spindle is going to burn in. All right. The spindle, of course, was the very top part. I didn't even have to carve out it much. That's about how thick it was. I like my spindle to be no bigger than my index finger, no smaller than my little finger. I don't like a real big spindle. The bearing block I'm going to be using is a piece of fat wood, actually a knot where the limb comes out of the trunk. It's a very hard material, and as you're bowing, as the spindle spins, the rosin is almost, well, it is a lubricant, acts as a lubricant. So that's the set. Pretty simple how you make it. Show you this once again. Again, that's just a piece of the trunk split, bark removed, and another piece split off to make a 1/2 inch hearth board. And the spindle, you got a blunt end that's going to produce the ember, and this goes into the bearing block. Looks like a big pencil point eraser. All right. This is just a piece of leather. It was a strop that I had bought on Amazon, and it's going to be the ember catch. When I'm practicing, I use this. If you're out in the wild, you could use a leaf. You could use some splintered off piece of wood that you took from the hearth board. It don't matter, as long as you have something to catch the ember. Now this was green. I cut this green and allowed it to dry. It's been drying for several days, and we're going to see what happens. First thing we're going to do is burn in the set, and you do that to seat the spindle into the hearth board, and also to begin the process of burning. And it gives you an idea of how much pressure you're going to have to use in order to produce the ember. That may be a little too tight. You really don't want to hear it twang like that, but I think it'll work. I like to put the arch of my foot about 1 inch from the divot. And we're going to go ahead with the burn in. You brace your wrist against your shin so you won't get any wobble. Seems like I'm going to have to press pretty hard till I feel some friction occurring. I already feel the friction. I see some smoke. And I'm going to go ahead and burn it till I have it well seated. And I'm seeing some black dust, some charred dust. And there you have the burnt in hearthboard and the spindle. Not going to waste that dust. I'm going to knock it down there and let that be part of the dust that's going to fill up the notch. Now I'm going to take my saw. You could use a knife, but when I'm practicing I use a saw. And I'm going to cut a pie-shaped notch just into that dip. Not too far into it. You could take a knife, kind of clean it up. And I like to carve away, put a chamfer on this bottom to allow air to pass to that ember. It ain't real necessary, but it seems to help me out. Show you that a little closer, what we got. Excuse the sniffling, my allergies are pretty rough. There you go. All right. We're going to go ahead and make that ember. And what I'm trying to do is not go crazy right away. I want the dust to fall into the notch and actually come up to the area where this is touching the hearthboard. That's where all the heat is. And once you got the notch filled, should be sufficient heat to ignite the ember. So let's see what we got. Get this shoelace out of the way. I didn't last time. Okay. Get comfortable. Try to use the whole length of the bow. I'm watching for that notch to get filled with dust, and probably a bit more piled up beside the hearthboard. Pretty much there. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Oop, got some slippage. Whew. I hope we have ignition. I think we do. Became a little difficult there for some reason. As you can see, we do have an ember. Pretty good size one too. There we go. Now it's going to do what's called coalescing. It will basically solidify into a hard ember. Ooh, I'm a bit out of shape. You gotta forgive the breathing hard. But you've got time here. A lot of people get in a hurry once they've got the ember made, but you've got plenty of time. There is a lot of dust to burn here. And as I said, you do want this to coalesce into a solid ember. All right. I'll try to give you a closer look without spilling it. There you go. And it's time to put it in the tinder bundle. My tinder bundle is just a bunch of old pine straw. Put this here. After I get the bird's nest or tinder bundle. It's made up of pine straw, and I put some punk wood that I kind of ground up also in the bottom. And then in the bottom here I'm going to take this fine material that was made when I processed the pine. I kind of crushed it up in my hands. That's called processing. To make more surface area. And now, like I say, this is no hurry now. I could sit here for probably 5 minutes or more if the wind ain't blowing too strong to ignite it. But you're not having to be in a hurry. Allow the ember to build and start building into the bird nest material as well. A lot faster than I expected it to ignite, but that's good. Good demonstration of how this works. You begin turning the bird's nest. Eventually, you'll have a good ignition. You could put that in your fire lay, and that's how you start a fire with bow drill. And you could use a green sapling. You ain't got to go find any special wood. Use a green sapling, carve out your pieces, and allow them to dry for several days. Bow drill is not a survival emergency thing. Survival emergency is a Bic lighter or flint and steel. This is a way to ignite a fire when conditions are right and you've been able to gather all your materials just right. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comments. I get to any questions as soon as I can. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.